Hey guys, it's Yuta. So, I have a question. Let's say you have a pretty close friend, and if you go to your friend's house, would you open their fridge and help yourself to some food or drink? And if you would you ask for permission? Now, this is an interesting question because I grew up in Japan, and when I was little, there was this TV show, American TV show called Alf on Japanese TV, and I liked watching the Japanese dubbed version. And I noticed something interesting. Whenever their friend comes to their house, he just looks for some food and just helps himself. And I was very amused because that would never happen in Japan. So I thought it was very American. And when I was in middle school, I had a chance to go to the United States and I homestayed in a small town in Nebraska. And I didn't speak English back then, so that was pretty interesting, but that's another story. But my point is, when I hung out with my host brothers' friends, they would just freely open the freezer and eat some popsicles. And I was very, very happy when I saw that because I thought, wow, what I saw on TV was completely true. This is very American. And now I've traveled around the world. I know that it's not that uncommon for people to go to their friend's house and just open their fridge and eat some food. And I often stay in an Airbnb flat in many countries, and I sometimes invite people. And some people open my fridge and ask me, oh, can I eat this or can I drink that? And I find this kind of cultural difference very, very interesting. So I did a little bit of survey on my Twitter and asked my followers the following questions. Where are you from? When you visit your friend's house, is it acceptable to open their fridge in your country? And if so, with permission or without permission? And do you have a fridge in your house? Now, if you think everybody has a fridge, well, I've met people who didn't have a fridge because I often go to developing countries. And sometimes if you live in a slum, you don't necessarily have a fridge. But you may have a smartphone and internet. Anyway, let's have a look at the answers. First, Americans. And the most common answer seems to be something like, well, if you are close with your friends, you may ask for permission for the first time, but then it will be acceptable to just open it and help yourself. And I got many answers like this from many American people, but also many other people said the same thing. I got many answers like that from the Philippines and Mexico, for example. There were actually more people who said it was acceptable than people who said it wasn't acceptable. And the interesting thing is that some people from the same country said it wasn't acceptable. And in hindsight, I should have probably asked about their socioeconomic status because I think in some countries it depends on your specific background. By the way, this is on my Twitter, so you can check all the answers on my Twitter page. But in Japan, as far as I know, people don't open their friend's fridge. They probably don't even think about it. And of course, there might be some exceptions. For example, if you're cooking with your friends and you need some ingredients from the fridge, maybe it's acceptable to open it and get the ingredients. Although I think in that case, you would ask for permission first. But I think in Japan, a fridge is something very private. So opening somebody else's fridge is like reading somebody else's diary. And if you Google, you can find Japanese people complaining that some people open their fridge. For example, this Japanese woman said that once her mom friend came to her house and her friend brought some cake. And she said, oh, let me put this in your fridge, and opened the fridge and just put it in. And the woman was upset because her friend just assumed it was okay and didn't wait for her answer. And she posted her story on an anonymous forum. And the replies were unanimously dismissive. People were saying, oh, it's so rude, your friend shouldn't have done that. And her friend just wanted to put some stuff in the fridge. So as you can see, Japanese people can be very sensitive about their fridge. So what if you go to your friend's house and you're hungry or thirsty? Well, in my case, I would probably hesitate to even ask for some food or drink. But if I'm really thirsty, I would probably say, oh, can I have some water? But I wouldn't ask for anything other than water. And if I'm hungry, I would probably say something like, oh, is there any convenience store around here because I want to buy some food? And probably my friend would realize that I'm hungry and offer me some food. Instead of asking directly, I would just hint. Now, obviously, this is with the average indirect Japanese people, but depending on where you're from or your personality, I may ask directly. So the takeaway from this video is if you are invited by a Japanese person, it's better not to open their fridge. And I find this cultural difference very, very interesting. So if you want to learn more about Japanese culture, I think you need to learn Japanese. And if you want to learn Japanese with me, I can send you some free Japanese lessons by email. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta. Alright, see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.